What's up, guys? I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you've probably heard of Ryan Pineda before. You've probably seen like his real estate programs and, his new podcast, which is, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But basically, I wanted to bring this one up because you're going to start seeing a lot more stuff like this against not just Ryan Pineda, but lots and lots of other gurus as well, especially in the NFT space. I want to preface this by saying not all cryptocurrencies and different investments are frauds like this one clearly is. Not all of them are like that. For example, like I personally like XRP, Cardona. Like those are actual utility coins that serve a purpose down the road. It's going to take years to get there, but there's real purpose that's actually served there. There's real utility, there's real use. With stuff like this, it's all kind of just imaginary fugazi. Like it doesn't really actually exist, as this lawsuit kind of outlines. So you're going to see a lot more of this. I'm going to report on a lot more of these frauds that just get found out over the course of time here. So in this case, it was a NFT scam. Now, there's a whole bunch of them, some smaller levels and some bigger levels, just like this one. And in this case, this NFT, like Thai coins or whatever, like they wanted to call it, like Tykes NFT, it was basically like you buy some of these coins for basically thousands of dollars a pop, or buy some of these NFTs, not coins, buy some of these NFTs for thousands of bucks a pop, and you're supposed to get like all these added perks, which I'll go through here in a second. We'll take a look at. The thing that sucks is obviously none of this ever happened. Now, there's a certain bigger name in the internet space, digital marketing, influencer space that has basically done something similar, and CoffeeZilla is handling that one. I don't want to get messed up in all that, but this one I'm going to report on. So in this case, they basically had these NFTs that promised perks, which was like, hey, you could get access to these real estate deals, rental homes, like all these investment opportunities. You could buy more courses with these coins. It was supposed to create like a little ecosystem within this like Ryan Pineda coaching company, basically. So if we look here, we'll start with point number one. It's against the snake oil salesmen masquerading as entrepreneurs. Defendants led by ringleader Ryan Pineda sold digital assets that did not have characteristics, uses, or benefits as they advertised and promoted. So with anything you guys get invested in, literally anything, stocks, cryptocurrency, just other investment opportunities in general, whatever they may be, you need to make sure that there's an actual use case behind them. For example, with XRP, the use case is it's going to replace the SWIFT banking system. It's going to cost pennies on the dollar to transfer funds. It's something where once everything's handled with the SEC, like I think as of a couple of days ago, there was like the unofficial completion of that SEC case. So it's like pending an official vote by the SEC to drop it, you'll probably see something crazier happen, I would imagine, with how actually practical that token is. But stuff like this, it's nothing that's just, it's all hype, essentially. So that's what happened here. Founder defendant Ryan Pineda created the company, Tykes LLC, to sell digital assets for use in real estate investment deals, including business ventures. The scheme centered around Tykes non-fungible tokens. Upon purchasing the token, the holder was promised perks, which included exclusive real estate deals, vacation homes, events, educational products that are investments, and more perks like they were supposed to receive kind of over time, and that just never happened. Going a little bit further, basically, you could also use these not just for business ventures, but exchange of other cryptocurrencies, other products, coaching programs, as they kind of further detail out below. The NFTs, you could sell them, trade them on the marketplace like OpenSea, for example, which they try to throw. It's kind of funny. They kind of try to throw OpenSea under the bus and blame them as to why their token didn't succeed because of some cryptocurrency crash, but it's just like that never really happened. Instead, the thing to focus on is the fact that they tried to artificially manipulate the market. So, for example, it says here they were sold through the open marketplace of OpenSea, but were pulled from sale by OpenSea for violating the terms of service regarding market manipulation. Ryan and Noella, the defendants, engaged in deceptive trading practice by purchasing their own NFTs on the market to artificially inflate trading volume to create the false appearance of an active market demand. By executing these self-directed and coordinated transactions, the defendants misled the public into believing the NFTs were actually traded and sought after by independent investors. This conduct induced unwitting buyers to purchase NFTs under the mistaken impression that they were participating in a thriving market. So, I mean, that's basically a rug pull, in a way. Not like your standard cryptocurrency rug pull or anything like that, for example, but more of just like, okay, well, we're going to make something up. We're going to buy a whole lot of it to make it look like people want it, and then we're just going to collect money on it. Like, here they are in the back end, right? Buying their own stuff for probably pennies on the dollar, selling these tokens for thousands of dollars, and never actually fulfilling on any of the promises given, and instead trying to blame it on OpenSea because of the hack that happened with them. So, it says, following the ban by OpenSea, defendants formed and operated their own NFT marketplace called the Tykes Marketplace so that they can control the market value of Tykes NFTs sold. So it's almost going like a step further, right? They're like, okay, well, if this legitimate company is gonna, block us out, well, we'll just create our own. That way we could even have more control and control the price. Let's see. So they first sold in September 22. Defendants earned over $2 million by selling these NFTs for thousands of dollars a piece. After OpenSea pulled Tykes NFTs from sale, defendants moved their products to Tykes Marketplace, continue to sell for thousands of dollars a piece. They basically rebranded the same scam here as Tykes Unleashed and released even more. See, like, here's the thing, too. It's not like there's a finite amount. Take gold, oil, diamonds, like any kind of actual, like, I guess in this case, right, kind of be like a commodity almost. Take any kind of thing like that. There is real value and use case behind it, and there's a limited amount. With this, it's just like they're creating it out of thin air. Like, it's just like it doesn't actually exist. So then it says, ultimately, the defendants never provided authentic investment opportunities, nor did they follow through on their promised perks. For 2 years, the defendants strung along investors by repeatedly pushing back the development roadmap while issuing false and misleading updates about the project's progress through social media announcements and community updates. Defendants created an illusion that the project was actively being developed and that key milestones were on the horizon. These deceptive tactics induced investors to hold on to their NFTs and the associated Ty coins, believing that significant advancements were imminent. However, it was only in February 24 that the truth was uncovered that the project was a fraud and no meaningful development had ever taken place. The defendants' continuous misrepresentations were not mere delays, but a calculated effort to obscure abandonment of the project, defraud investors, and sustain an illusion of legitimacy for as long as possible. So then in February of last year, nearly 2 years after the initial launch, the Tykes NFTs holders demanded answers as to why they had seen zero return on investment and basically why the coins had zero value. So then Ryan then blames the lack of return on the cryptocurrency crash that happened with OpenSea that affected like 8,000 other NFTs, citing disengagement and lack of interest from those holding Tykes NFTs and Ty coins. Very briefly, and last on the reasons of the defendant's business failure, Pineda stated that blockchain real estate is still a very long way from mass adoption. So, that's a lot of words, right? What does that really mean? Basically, he's trying to say, well, hey, because this program or because this platform basically crashed and affected all these other coins, well, I'm just going to say that we were affected by it also. And yeah, blockchain's cool and all, but I guess we were just really far away on mass adoption. So what he's basically trying to say is like, oh, well, like value still might still be there. It might be. It's just we gotta wait a little bit longer, guys. A little bit longer. Don't sell your stuff. Don't make me buy it back. Just hold on a little bit longer. And the thing is like if you do that, you have to know. And this is with all investments, right? Time investments, financial investments, relationship investments. You have to know when to get out. And that just goes with anything. So what he's trying to do is just string you along so that you just have this unrealistic, unsubstantiated hope that this stuff is going to be successful someday. Meanwhile, he's still chilling, living like a villain, as they say, right? But there is, he's not actually doing anything active to push the project forward. Plus, look, I know plenty of guys like Ryan Pineda. I've sat in the same room with plenty of guys just like that. The last thing they really care about is pushing projects forward most of the time, and I'm sure this is the case here. And of course, this is just my own opinion based off of experiences that I've had in the space. Most of the time, it's how can I get somebody else to try to work on this, or how can I kick this can down the road? How can we make it look like we're working on something when we're not? Again, it's all fraudulent behavior. Not cool whatsoever. And they just want to get away with it. They just want to, take the money and move on. But there's no real use case for any of it. It's all made up. It's like, okay, you remember when you were a kid in school and you'd probably have a rewards-based system in class. I know I had a teacher years back, I think it was second or third grade, where if we kept our green cards over the course of time, we'd get certain rewards at the end of the week. They'd basically be like little play dollars, and then with that money, we could, buy stuff over the course of time, just little, knickknacks, doodads, just little toys that were cheap for the teacher to buy, but, made the students feel good. Just kind of good reward-based behavioral stuff, right? And outside of the classroom, those little bucks that the teacher gave us meant absolutely nothing, right? There was nothing I could do in the real world with that money, but I could in the classroom. So in the same way here, it really only works inside the community. And in this case, it's okay, well, you're investing into something that you can't even actually use yet because those use cases that were promised to you don't actually exist. So it's imagine if I were to save up all those bucks as a little kid in class, and then the teacher's oh, well, you can't actually spend them on anything because I don't have anything to exchange for it. Well, that's essentially what happened here, right? Just at a much larger level than just a small little classroom in second or third grade. I don't know. That said, I'm glad to see that this stuff's getting taken seriously. I'm glad to see that there's a lawsuit. I really hope that all the investors somehow at least get some kind of reparations for what they went through. Hopefully they get some kind of refund even. I hope that the FTC goes after Ryan Pineda with absolutely every fiber of their being, because at this point, for me personally, it's not about the money. It's about sending a message. These guys, Ryan included, whole bunch of other big names out there, they are massively defrauding the public. They're taking lots of people's money. They're selling them hopium. And I get pressed over this stuff because I've seen what it's done to people, families, relationships, and it's seriously, I don't know, I'll probably just stop it there before I get too heated. But I'm just glad to be seeing that these guys are, getting essentially what they deserve. And hopefully it'll just send a massive message throughout the industry. I think earlier I mentioned talking about his podcast. What you guys are going to see probably in the coming months, year or two, podcasts are becoming a pretty huge thing, right? All these podcasts are popping up left and right. It's largely because most people don't trust mainstream media anymore on either side. This isn't a political thing. This is just where markets are shifting over time, from basically the early 1900s to the early 2000s, you had mainstream media, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, the whole nine. But now people are like, okay, well, everything's scripted, blah, blah, blah. Like, we want more authenticity, especially Gen Z. We want authenticity, right? So podcasts popped up. You had Joe Rogan's podcast. Specifically, you've had many other shows. I know this is probably a crazier one, but like even Alex Jones, for example, like he basically created his own independent media company at this point. It doesn't matter what aisle you kind of lean on. He basically created his own media company. Very hard thing to do, right? Joe Rogan's essentially his own media company. All these other successful podcasts. Brett Cooper has now gone on her own, having her own successful podcast. Sean Ryan's had a successful podcast. There's all these legitimate podcasts now that people are going to for, curtailed information. Like there's a bunch of different topics out there, right? But it's all authentic. It's not really scripted. What these gurus are doing though now is they recognize market trends. These guys are really smart. They study up on a lot of psychology, often dark psychology, and they know where to move and when to move. So they decided to start making all these podcasts, oftentimes pitching all their products, right? You even have like Patrick Bet-David's podcast that does the same thing now. I agree with a lot of the content on the podcast, but I also recognize that it's just one big giant pitch at the end of the day. So that's what a lot of these gurus are doing on a smaller level. They're setting up these podcasts ultimately as a pitch for their product. They're setting up these massive studios, dumping a lot of money into them. Check out their subscribers. Like they don't really have a whole lot of subscribers. And then if they do have a lot of subscribers, I encourage you to go to Social Blade and check out when those subscribers hit, because you can pay for a lot of subscribers to make yourself look bigger than you actually are. You can pay for views to try to pump stuff up to look legitimate, even though you're not. So just watch out for that. You're going to just start seeing a lot more of this stuff pop up in the coming months, in year or two, as podcasts continue to become the new media source for most of the population across the world. That said, if this is the first time you guys were checking out my YouTube channel, appreciate it. Hopefully, you found some kind of value. If you want to know what I do on the side, it's basically this thing called lead generation. I've got sites just like this one right here where basically people call this phone number, it goes to a contractor, and then they go ahead, fulfill the work, and then I get a little cut of the action. If you want to know more about like how I do it, go ahead and check out this page. I'll drop it down in the description below. Basically answers any question you could possibly have. And if you're wondering if this business model is still realistic, as of yesterday, I did just get another deal, this time with a concrete company. 10% of any job closed that comes through. So after this video, I'm going to go ahead and start building out that asset for that source of income. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Got any questions? Go ahead, drop them below. If you've had actually any kind of involvement with this NFT project, please drop a comment down below. I would like to talk with you and see if I could get more information on it, maybe do a little series or something like that. So hope you guys found this video helpful. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.